this piece of land over there that you never really probably paid attention to, that was once a wetland about 16 square kilometers large. And now we are questioning, or the public authorities are questioning, together with the landowners, whether those wetlands should be restored or not. And you are to help us decide, because you are the ones who actually live nearby here, whether the wetland should be restored, and in that case, what it should be optimized, what should its management functions be, because we, the public authorities, want to maximize welfare from this wetland. So today there's just some very small water bodies that are not hardly accessible. The dikes are not, you're not allowed to walk on them, so you cannot even get in there and see the water and the reed bed. The green thing is the reed beds. And so there's a proposition to restore it to 2/3 of its original size, 10 kilometers square. So that's significant, and it's right next by you. So wetlands are pretty things. And so basically I want you to we're questioning if this wetland, how it should be managed, because one thing is we could continue the status quo, given that it's restored. That is, there's no access, there's no visibility. We're not going to do anything to facilitate your recreational experience of that valuation method of the wetland. On the other hand, we could also allow for passive recreation. That means we're not going to interfere with the wetland as such, but we're just going to have observation circuits, things like, boardway walks around, and you can have some stations where you can look in and look at the different birds, yeah. So it's just really minimal nuisance of the wildlife. Or you could allow for active recreation where there's actual access. That means you could have some bicycling facilities, kayaking and horse riding, hunting restricted to some area, fishing, sport fishing to another area. Okay? There are different costs involved in this, so that's why the public authorities needs to know what is most valued. And also, this valley, the valley where the wetland used to be, actually hosts a fair bit of biodiversity, but it used to host a lot more when the wetland was actually there. And it's a Mediterranean biodiversity hotspot. So it's according to what you do, whether you allow for reed harvesting, whether you plant hedgerows, whether you're going to control mosquitoes with chemicals, or whether you disturb access, whatever you do with that wetland, it will have an impact on the biodiversity. So we want to have also a notion of how you value biodiversity. And eventually we can imagine that we have the status quo. It's a low level relative to, this is the Tortoise Street, I don't remember the name in it, but this is a threatened turtle that is still present in the valley. But we imagine that there will be more of the turtles coming back, there will be fishes, there would be more dragonflies, more mosquitoes, and more fish. So there'll be more of this. But if we really make a high conservation effort, we may actually see threatened, endangered species return to the valley that have left. The bouton étoilé, the purple heron, the white stork. So there's different management options. And now, basically, well, by the way, before we get to the valuation scenario, how many have computers in here? 1, 2, 3, 4, so it's like 50%. I didn't expect it was well, actually, maybe. Okay, this is how we're going to do. Those people that have written their email, they're going to do the valuation exercise themselves. The other people, I'm going to go through the choices with you, and you're just going to note on your piece of paper whether you choose alternative A, B, or C. Okay? So I am the interviewer, and I am at your home, and now I'll propose you to choose between different possible land management options for this, for your future. So imagine this is really nearby where you live. Land use changes will be financed by an increase in your municipal taxes that will be channeled directly to a wetland management fund and exclusively dedicated to overall management of the wetland. So, okay, no waste of money here. Your money is going to be used for the purpose that they are built to be used. And you always have an impact on whatever is going to happen. If you choose to conserve land's use configuration as it is today, say no change, that means no wetland restoration, no rise in biodiversity, no access, then there will be no increases in your municipality tax. And we're looking at yearly municipality taxes. Well, depending on. Okay, so I'm gonna, maybe, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna do this all together, because otherwise it's gonna get complicated. You're all gonna note on a piece of paper your choices. Okay, it's coming in here. So you all got a piece of paper and a pen. So this would be, sometimes you do, when you do stated preference methods, you do them on the internet. Increasingly in Scandinavia, at least, and in the UK and Australia, that's being used because they have very good representative databases for citizens. You also use a lot of post mail in Denmark or in Scandinavia, but because the response rate is high. A high response rate is about 50%. In the Latin part of Europe, it's quite different. If you send out 100 questionnaires, you're really lucky if you get 10 back. So it costs a lot more because you actually have to go out and interview people. Okay, so this could be something that you would have in your letterbox, depending on where you live, and you're actually told. So what follows next is a set of different scenarios, each with a choice of 3 alternatives from which I ask you to choose the alternative that you prefer. Alternative A, alternative B, or none of them. Opting for none of them, i.e. the status quo of what you know today, results in no increase in your municipal tax, yet consequently no increase in the size of wetland, level of biodiversity, and recreational facilities. What I would also say is that each choice set, you're going to not value it according to what you saw before or what's coming next. You imagine you only have that choice. That's what's faced to you. So then we move on. Okay, and then you usually, when you do stated preference valuation methods, you will sort of just warn people to say, think about how much this cost would influence your household's disposable budget for other purposes. Similar studies have shown that people have a tendency to exaggerate how much they really would want to pay. So now it's you. Yeah, so do be aware, think about, okay, if I spend 100 euros on that, then I will have less money for other things. Okay, so now I ask you to, as I said, either you choose, you have to evaluate yourself whether you prefer alternative A, which has a high level of biodiversity, no access and recreation, so there's quite a lot of existence values associated with this one, and 120 euro, that's, let's say $120 increase in your municipal tax per year. Or you have alternative B, where you have very low biodiversity and passive recreation, so only these boardwalks around. You can see things, you can see the water and all that, and it'll cost you $10 more per year. What do you choose? And then you wrote a note on your paper, you think it through, and you choose alternative A, B, or none of them. Have you written notes it down? Okay, so prior to doing a survey like this, usually I would go out in the field, do a focus group to get those monetary estimates right. Because maybe you guys have actually earning quite a lot of money, so you're willing to pay much more than what's up there. And in which case, this should maybe be rather, would you willing to be paid this every month? But can you just give me an indication maybe whether you think this is, does this 120 euro have an impact on your wallet for a year? Or is it low or is it high? Okay, we'll just see. Well, these are quite of the limitations. We're going to discuss that afterwards. Okay, we still assume it's every year. Okay, next one. I'll not talk, I'll just make you host. I have to say, it doesn't allow me to go on. So you all know. This is question 2, yeah. Can I move on? No. Is there anybody who doesn't understand it? Are you clear with the methodology? You can see that you're trading off different alternatives relative to what you have today, which is low access, low biodiversity, and no wetland restoration. Have you all done choice 2? Okay. So number 3. Can I move on? Okay, 4. Move on? Or you're still thinking? Five. Here you have actually 300 increase in your municipal tax, but you may also get some really nice things. Remember, this is just next by where you live. But it may also just be way too expensive. Okay, move on. So last one, number 6. Okay. So, you have just done a choice experiment exercise that was not worked, that I didn't spend a whole lot of, I didn't put a lot of effort into that, as you would usually do when you do a choice experiment. You go out in the field, you understand the constraints, all the rest of it, and so this is actually what you're not supposed to do. You're supposed to know your respondents. You're not supposed to know the approximate sort of willingness to pay range. Why is it on? I'm just impatient. Okay, and basically what I'll do after the session, I'll gather your responses, and I'll take it into my statistics program. SAS is very good for when you handle data sets, and look at how this room. So what we will be able to say is something about how you value access relative to biodiversity, and actually put a monetary value on each of those different attribute levels. So let's get out here. Maybe could you, I want you to just talk and say what you think. I don't know if you want to come closer for that reason. Why does it not? This way. So what did you find? What was there anything odd? Was there something that you just didn't? What did you learn from this?
Do you think people get it for that range?
Yeah, or 2 tables. Yeah, I think we can best. Yeah, can everybody get around? So you may. Okay, you are on table already. 3 tables? 2 tables?